Hello everyone and welcome back to the only series out there that combines the lore of Magic the Gathering with the physical cards you can win. I'm Simon and this is Friday Night Lore. So welcome back guys to Friday Night Lore. If you're wondering why there hasn't been one recently, well, I ran out of cards and stories to properly bring you the series. This is a pretty expensive undertaking, giving away cards all the time I mean. My personal decks suffer and so does my wallet. But whenever I'm knee deep in doubles, I want to give back to the community as much as possible. For this week's episode, let's investigate a character which I believe was short-handed in Battle for Zendikar, but could become prominent in Oath of the Gatewatch. Her name is General Tazri. For the better part of the Battle for Zendikar storyline, Tazri was a complete mystery. All we knew was that she was a human native to Zendikar, an excellent fighter and general, wore an angel's halo around her neck, and was second in command to Vorik. Vorik being one of Gideon's closest friends on Zendikar and commander general of the Zendikari forces against the Eldrazi. In Battle for Zendikar, Vorik gets struck by a rogue Eldrazi and is beginning to succumb to its corruption. It becomes painfully clear that their trusted leader wouldn't survive his injuries. Vorik had to make a choice: who would succeed him in leading the forces of Zendikar against the Eldrazi? Tazri believed she was the obvious choice. She had trained under Vorik for 15 years, and was a proven fighter and strategist. But her mentor placed Gideon in charge instead. With his dying breath, Vorik believed Gideon inspired hope in the people. That hope is what was gonna save Zendikar. Ever since, Tazri has served as a loyal, albeit opinionated, general in Gideon's army. Tazri was at Seagate the day doom rose from the plane's crust, the unleashing of Kozilek and freeing of the previously captured Ulamog. With her forces scattered and chaos befalling the battlefield, Tazri could barely muster a sound retreat. She grabbed as many of her men as she could and marched them to the nearby tree line, hoping they could lose the trailing spawn of the Titan. As she stood out of the clearing, scouting what enemy movement she could, she saw a thin magenta veil heading towards them, like a haze settling on a warm summer morning. Before she could order her troops to move, it fell upon them. This was the reality-distorting presence of Kozilek. This power made Tazri see some horrible things, all of which defied normal rational thought. She witnessed her men die in gruesome, if not spectacular ways. She could only wait and see what Kozilek had in store for her. But rather than dying, Tazri spun through time and space, revealing her past life in real time, giving us a glimpse into this character's past. Tazri grew up as a fighter, being one of the youngest employed caravan guards in all of Zendikar. She was skilled and disciplined, with the marks of a great leader at such a tender age. She would grow up to do great things. Fate had only been a little less cruel to the girl. One day, during a normal caravan expedition, her company came across the scenes of a great battle. Vampires, who typically don't venture this far inland from Gruul Draz, had attacked another force, but only vampire corpses were left. The slain vampires were cut nearly in two, with searing burn marks surrounding their wounds. Who or whatever did this used a flaming sword. Tazri was cautious. Whether the vampires or this other figure won, either could be a potential threat. She walked further down the road and she found nothing but more dead vampires, until she heard the cries of a woman. Tazri rushed over to find a mortally wounded angel, twisted, broken, and near death. Tazri had never seen an angel before. Most had died off fighting the Eldrazi, so this was a new experience for the young fighter. The angel didn't say much, only that the vampires would return and cart her off to torture her. The angel begged Tazri to end her life. There was no healer around, nor was it possible to move her. A merciful death was all that could be done. The horns of the returning vampire hordes blew in the distance. Time was running short. Tazri had to make a decision before her caravan shared the angel's fate. She remembered a tale, a warning. Killing an angel was bad luck. A curse would be inflicted to any and all who slayed an angel. The dying angel confirmed Tazri's rumor. She would be cursed. There was nothing she could do to prevent it, yet she still begged for the release of death. Placing her own fears behind, Tazri grabbed her sword and ended the angel's life. Her face went still, leaving only a small, thankful smile. The angel's halo dimmed and slowly lost all light. Tazri took this halo as a reminder of her deeds and left. The angel was right, a curse did take hold. From that day on, Tazri felt as if something inside her was missing. It's not something she could name, but it was obviously not there. She lost all confidence in herself, abandoned her use of swords, favoring maces instead, and fell into despair. She lost contract after contract as her employers noticed that she wasn't the same Tazri anymore. No one was willing to give her a chance to redeem herself. She began to feel unworthy of that second chance. That is before bumping into a commander of a militia force, a man named Vorik. He saw something missing in Tazri, but understood soldiers and leaders all had losses to overcome. She was welcomed in and fought by his side for 15 years. As Kozilek warped her mind even further, Tazri began feeling as if this were the real world and not some deranged toying of a titan. Her past wasn't the only thing revealed. The future was also shown over this new horizon. She had become a servant of Kozilek, a willing fighter for her new master. She watched as the titan crushed the interlopers, these planeswalkers who thought to challenge his rule. Again and again, Kozilek would crush Gideon Jorah into oblivion, warp time, resurrect him, and do it again. Each time, Tazri filled with joy and excitement. Her master was killing a man who had stolen her position over and over again. Tazri truly lost it. Reality flickered once again. This time, her master Kozilek and his brood were nowhere to be found. They had devoured Zendikar and left, but Tazri was so enthralled by the Titan that she couldn't bring herself to admit that she had been abandoned. She waited for hundreds, thousands, millions of years, alone in the dark, awaiting her master's return. Her mind began to bend under the pressure of eternity. No mortal could ever withstand this kind of power, but a glowing light in the darkness shined forth and wrapped her in warmth. She traveled to a place of pure white, a place outside of space and time, a place out of the reach of Kozilek. Before her stood the angel she had killed 20 years ago, or was it a billion years ago? Tazri was still confused. The angel told Tazri that she had cursed herself to help another being she didn't even know. It was time for her to be forgiven. Tazri believed she deserved to be punished. She killed an angel. How could she forgive her now? The angel remarked that she wasn't forgiving her. She did that the day she was killed. It was time for Tazri to forgive herself. A light enveloped her. She felt that missing part fill up once more. The Tazri of promise and hope that died with the angel so many years ago had returned. The angel cast Tazri back into the timeline, to the current reality, free of Kozilek's influence. Tazri appeared with more hope than ever. While it looked dim, her halo shined with the glow of her renewed spirit. Tazri was now a true general, ready to take command and fight for Zendikar. And that, my friends, is the story of Tazri, her past, present, and potentially corrupt future. I believe this story really spotlighted this character, allowing her to take a larger role over the course of OGW. I also like how it showed off the power of Kozilek and the influence angels still have on Zendikar. Let me know what you think about Tazri, angels, and the power of Kozilek in the comments below. As with every FNL episode, by commenting on this video you enter yourself for a chance to win a card. This week's winner will receive a copy of General Tazri. Just be a subscriber to the channel and leave a comment on the video. At the end of the week I'll select one at random. That's all you have to do. And that's gonna do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, consider giving it a like and sharing it with friends. It goes a long way in supporting future content. You can also support the channel by visiting my sponsors at abugames.com. ABU Games is an online store where you can find all things MTG. Check them out. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.